Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. This is Wojciech from Rokanan Group, and I would like to welcome you to our next webinar. And this webinar will be titled Successful Audio Product Launch to Global Markets. And first of all, like you saw in the invitation to this webinar, our speaker was supposed to be Anna Czerwoniec, who was Director of Marketing and Sales in former director of marketing in the startup Zylia that makes microphones. But unfortunately, Anna got sick and she couldn't participate. So, thanks to great support from Tomasz Żernicki, who was also the co-founder of the company that we are, the success story, the case study we are listening to, agreed to cover so we don't have to cancel this webinar. And I'm sure that we are not going to lose anything because, like I mentioned, Tomasz is the co-founder of Zylia, and he was actually inventor of this microphone, the story that we are listening to. So regardless if we listen to Anya or Tomasz, I think we will hear they were actually both working together on actually launch this product to the market. So with this said, I would like to say thank you, Tomasz. Welcome, and again, we talk very often about successes and failures as well, right? With various products. So I mean, this is the story of your, like you started Zylia, and like how come that this product becomes so successful that an idea become actually sold in so many countries. Maybe you can just start by giving, like a small story about how it got started. Maybe like some background, because we know each other for a little while. So I heard this story a lot, but if you could maybe just start by giving listeners some, like a background story. So when it started, how come, why actually this, where did you take the idea from? Okay,
Okay, thank you so much, Wojtek, for the introduction, and also sorry that I'm sorry that Anya couldn't participate in this webinar, and but my role also was related to marketing, sales, and as a CEO, I touched almost every aspect of the company. Yes, so that's the product. I don't know if you see this. So that's the microphone. This is a 3D audio recording microphone. More technically speaking, is ambisonics microphone. So inside you have like 19 microphones. Like all of these patches represent microphone. So at the end you got like a multi-channel output. So the microphone actually works like a 360 camera, but for audio. So you can record once, and then you are able to zoom in different parts, isolate the sound. You can also rotate the scene and so on. Yes, but so the topic of this webinar, as I understand, is how to launch the product and how to be successful. So maybe I just yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember that we once talked, and you mentioned, and we hear this a lot from startups, right? That people talk a lot about the technical aspects of the product, and there is actually zero on one slide about the go-to-market. Like you mentioned, we just build the product and put it in the shops, and it will sell itself, right? So many people sort of, underestimate how complex it it can become. And still we know that Zylia was actually sold like in 35 countries and became actually like our NAMM show. They get the NAMM, the microphone got the award for the best show NAMM show, right?
Best of NAMM, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So actually, yeah, small luck. We as a European company, we from Poland, we were able to go to the US market. I think that was one of the first market for us, and then actually scale the sales to almost every important countries in the world, including even China. So during this webinar, I would like to talk a little bit about okay, how we started, of course, but also how we deliver the product on different phases to customers. So once we were just starting, then we're just scaling the sales and so on. So you ask how it started. So actually, at the very beginning, the idea, we know that there is a problem because we had a problem. So we start as a, let's say, we had a problem, so we wanted to solve it. And we also did like a market tests that in order to prove that the problem exists. And the problem was that if you have a music band and you play rehearsals with your band, then usually those recording of those rehearsals is super complicated because you have, it's not like a studio. Yeah, people play different things in different places, and at the end it's like a wall of noise very, very often.
I know. We had this problem before. Yes. Yeah. And you get actually you use some recording device or something, and actually you cannot even listen. And you don't want to at every rehearsal bring number of microphones. You cannot actually hire a studio just for rehearsals. You do every couple of weeks, right? You will actually probably become poor.
The challenge is that also very often during the rehearsals you have some really interesting idea, improvisation, but then usually if you record with like a smaller recorder, then you'll just lose of it. So we know what is the problem. So the problem was to record the rehearsal in the way that we have like almost studio grade quality with multi-track recording of each instrument, and everything should be like magically split into tracks and so on. So we know what's the problem. We know how to solve it, but we didn't know how to approach the market, how to approach the customers, how to describe this technology. So at the very beginning, we created like a design thinking session, and actually this design thinking session was managed by Anya. And we answer a lot of questions. We have brainstorming session during this design thinking session and so on and so on. And at the end, we created like a paper version of this microphone. So just something like looks like like maybe not like this at this moment, but the paper version. And because we were at the university where they trained the sound engineers, so just went out from the room and asked students, sound engineering students, okay, what do you think about this? And most of them said, okay, this is great, but I don't believe that we will ever become a reality, because it's like too magical. So that actually was the very, very beginning, and then we started working on the market tests, validation, to really, because that was just the, let's say, initial concept, the proof. It wasn't the proof of market. It was just a proof that maybe we have a good idea. And so later on,
how did you do this market testing, and how did you validate that there is actually need?
So after we, maybe if you can open the presentation, so I will show one of the slides, not this one, but okay. So once we created a prototype, so the prototype looks at that time totally different than today. So we start testing this in our team, because most of the team were musicians, sound engineers, and so on. So that was the first market test. So we, validate the prototype. Maybe not a large scale, but it was just a very small group of people. Maybe just before this, we also went to different rehearsal and studio rooms, and and give like a leaflet with the description of the product, and ask people, okay, what they think about this. So just before even creating a prototype, what kind of feature they need and so on. And once we have the prototype, so we start inviting the musicians to our listening room in our office. So we have like a very controlled environment. And most of these recordings you can still find, I think, at Facebook, because everything was streamed to internet. So as you can see, we have a different group of people, from teenagers, even kids, as you can see here. So we tested this. In the way that we put the musician in the room, record the session. Actually, before even the session, we ask them different questions. Okay, what are the expectation, and what they think that they can achieve with the recording. And after the session, we show them the recordings and repeat the questions and ask them about the feedback. Actually, the very first recording was really embarrassing, because it occurred that there was like a huge noise in one of the microphones that we used, and the whole recording was just we just remove it to trash. Yeah, it was it was really embarrassing, because we invited those musicians to our studio. They spend a lot of time. But that's how it works when you have a prototype. Yeah.
That's true. People, some people don't. I mean, especially those that never started a new product, right? They sometimes think, couldn't you foresee this or something, right? They feel embarrassed. Salespeople, etc. They feel embarrassed because you give them something that is not perfect. But this is the entire idea. You just test it. Yeah.
But
cool. So you did some market testing. But you mentioned to me when we actually were preparing to this webinar that you were already doing some branding, right? At least even without the product, you started to do some, right? Some marketing, and maybe you could just elaborate. To me, it was just wow, branding at this stage.
Yeah. So actually, we just, as you can see, that was very early days of the company, maybe early days, yeah, and we didn't have almost any problems with inviting people for the rehearsals, ask them for recordings and so on, because we just from the beginning of building the company, we start working on our branding. Yeah. And so we have quite well-known brand even before we start selling the product. So what we did, we are very active at different communities related to audio. In our case, the main community was Audio Engineering Society. So we participated there as experts. So we have research papers, we have some engineering papers, we also present our ideas. So people in the community already know that we are experts. Yeah. The second thing was that we created a vision of the company that we would like to change the way how people recording the music, and we wanted to have like a leadership position in that, let's say, communication. So whenever we went to any fairs and we have a chance to talk with press or gave an interview, so we talked that we are changing the way how people record, how people produce the music and so on. And because this idea was so revolutionary, so it got more and more attention from people from the audio community, but from the brands and so on. So even as a very small company, from Poland, we are able to influence the community even before having a product. So that was our brand, that we are changing the music recording production. And then once we showed the prototype at one of the music fairs, then people were shocked. No, it was very first was Audio Engineering Society in New York. So this is a society that is brings all of the professionals, like sound engineers, music producers, game audio producers, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But at that, but the credibility of this community is super high because there are only experts. So we demonstrated that we have a prototype, and this prototype actually works. So we are doing this magic that you can put the microphone in a room like full of musicians, start recording, and at the end you have a multi-track recording, like in the studio. And because we have very convincing demo and the credibility that we already have, so we get the most attention of the press at this fairs, yeah. So everybody was talking only about our company, yeah. Because the idea was so unique that we was just like the most innovative product there and so on. And because because it was also on one of the most important music fairs, so other journalists just also started writing about this, yeah, that is a company that doing this and this. So this gives us the credibility as a brand, like a very small brand, but our goal of the brand was to lead the community, yeah. So maybe for many people it's strange to understand this, how small startup can be the leader, yeah. But we position ourselves just from the day one as a leader of that kind of music recording, yeah.
Tomasz, if I can stop here just for a second, and I think I want to make a comment to who is listening that of course there will be like a Q&A session in the end. Of course you can post questions to wherever you are on LinkedIn or Facebook or something. We'll just read them. We'll not stop just to not to interrupt, but we'll just try to save some time. Of course, you can just post where are you writing from or where are you listening from, and you actually hear us, because I didn't ask this in the beginning. If you can actually hear us well, that would be also cool. And also, yeah. So just to, if I can stop here just for a second and say, because it speaks to me, as you know, I was actually chairing like a pretty large product department before, and I was actually asking about this branding thing, because many times I hear from company owners, executives, branding, it's not that important. We need to do sales. We need to generate leads. And even company that already have pretty established, like a position in the market, people don't want to do branding because branding, it cannot be calculated easily, right? You have marketing, which is marketing, like a sales marketing, you can very quickly calculate, right? I mean, I spend 1,000 on ads and I can 2 leads. So I understand that, every lead costs us $150, $500, so it's actually, you can very easily calculate the return on investment. So branding, it's not that easy. And I would like to simply draw this attention to everyone that, branding is important. And especially when you build the product brand, it's, and product company, that can be very, very important thing, right? To position from yourself from the very beginning.
Yeah, you mentioned that it's not possible. It's hard to let's say measure the branding because in terms of lead generation, so you already know, yeah, how much you paid and how many leads you have. But I think that one of the let's say KPIs of how we measured, or we could measure the branding, was the number of promoters, let's say, of our company, because once we start talking about this, then we get attention of people who were very important, let's say, in the audio communities, in like musicians and sound engineers. And they start talking about us. So we at some moment of time, we didn't need to explain our products or philosophy, because those people were doing this. And and you are not able to calculate this. For example, we have a guy who still cooperate with a fantastic person who is John Merchant. He's sound engineer from Nashville, who produce music for Michael Jackson, Celine Dion, and
I know he's a mentor that the company that next company that you funded, right? With the venture studio. He's also, so people, so you can understand, right? If you would like to, for example, the mentoring sessions actually.
Yeah, but you know, I think that the branding looks a little bit like when we attend the conferences.
Mm-hmm.
So the first day we explain everybody what we are doing. Yeah, so we have like a long queues to people who wanted to see the demos, blah blah blah. But the next day we didn't have to do anything, because those people who were at the first day at the first bring those friends and explain what we have here to their friends. Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the branding. That's the power of you know, of influence the community. Yeah, that's maybe that's my definition of
philosophy. Cool. But of course, you have already established brand as a researcher and audio engineer before, right? So it was actually easier because you are, you know, it wasn't like a completely new for you, right? To be where you are, and you know, you work on this and standards, etc. Yes.
Yes. So actually, so what we wanted to do also from very beginning was just to build the company brand also together with my personal brand, because I was already recognized in the community as an expert. So it like goes together or went together, and you know, it give credibility at the beginning. You know, I gave the credibility to company, then company gave credibility to me. You know, it's like a machine. You know, people from marketing, the people from marketing explain that the complaints that complain very often that I'm not like I should publish much more and, you know, be more visible and so on. Yeah. But I think at the end, the whole company, the whole team did like a very nice job to promote. Yeah. And I think that having those influencers, those people that were, you know, really engaged in what we are doing and explaining, you know, to people on fairs, on forums, social media, and so on. So that was the key. Yeah. Yeah. But
Tomek, can I just stop here just for a second? So I just wanted to make a point and conclude. So of course, so there is an idea that, you know, like a well understood need. Then it's like a market testing, to trying to understand if this need is actually, it's not just your need, but, you know, through other rehearsals, groups of people, engineers, you want to actually see if this is possible, if this is actually larger need. Then obviously it's branding, and then understand and prototype, and then you're launching. And my question would be here, did you, I know that you did, so it's actually a question that I'm trying to put you on the spot. Did you use any methodology? Did you have like any go-to-market plan? What was your philosophy to going to market? So, you know, I understand you have a prototype, you already went to a couple of fairs, you're presenting this into, you know, in the Audio Engineering Society, there is some traction, interest. So what next? You know, what kind of philosophy or approach did you take to, you know, to push this to the market and actually make it a successful product?
I answered your question about the go-to-market, but just one sentence regarding the branding.
Okay.
I lost the picture. Okay. Here we have a picture of Stevie Wonder using our microphone, Zylia microphone. And maybe everything that I said is true about, you know, the branding, blah, blah, blah. But maybe this guy did everything because when he touched our microphone, then everybody also, like at this first, start talking about us and, you know, Stevie Wonder used Zylia. That's maybe, I don't know. Okay, that's a joke. But let's in terms of the go-to-market strategy, you know. You know, there are various methodologies, but I really believe in crossing the chasm methodology and the
diffusion of innovation, diffusion of innovation and chasm. Okay.
And I really believe that that this is the way how you should approach the new new approaches to something that people new solutions that people maybe didn't see before. So, for example, if you
can you, I know that you have a picture. Maybe we can just explain to people what crossing the chasm is. I know that probably most product managers should know, but so actually we have clear understanding what it is, right? So actually, guys, probably you may know that market can be broken down into, let's say, the first two groups: innovators, early adopters, who are more or less 20 people, and it's called early market. So, so actually, okay, so this is a chart that represents diffusion of innovation. So, like by studies of multiple products, it was discovered that actually, generally speaking, usually those two first groups, there's always like a small group of innovators, people, or techies, nerds, who like to always be first and check new technologies. There are early adopters, so those people who are actually obviously a little bit more careful than innovators, but still trying, being more open to technology. And then you can see the chasm. So sometimes people call it this, like a moment then where most startups actually fail and die, because it's very, it's very easy to attract those people who are, like for example, some young engineers, or maybe some people. Oh, I'm not want to spoil your speech, but then obviously there is this so-called mainstream market, which is actually after you cross the chasm, then you actually have the entire market of all these people who are more like pragmatists, who simply buy things that deliver value and they don't want to experiment on themselves, right? So, and we don't have here statistics, but as far as I remember, so the first two groups, it's more or less 20%, right? So once again, Pareto, right? And so it's very, so the research indicates that most companies fail, or product men also, like new products fail, actually, at this moment where you need to cross from the early market to the mainstream market, actually, how you can sort of attract those people who are more pragmatic. Okay, so sorry. I just wanted to be sure that everybody speak the same language. Yeah. So you understand, this is the way you approach the go to market with Zylia, right?
Yeah, because each of these phases define your go to market strategy, because the launch of the product usually is not just one event but multiple events. In our case, also was like that. And of course, you have your you have the profile of the buying persona, the perfect customer, and so on. But then there are also different behaviors. So the innovators are like techies, like people that they want to have something shiny and should be the first, and they that's the main goal actually. Yeah. So you have to highlight. So actually, at that phase, we did most of the beta testing, and we delivered the product to these innovators like for free. And we were looking for those people at different forums like active persons, and also people that were at our booth on different fairs. So we are actually looking for people that are really passionate about the technology. The challenge, of course, with them was that they very often didn't want to solve any problem, but at least we get very good feedback about how the product should be designed, what are the features that we should include, and so on and so on. So I would say that was the first launch within our target group. Then before the early adopters, I think that's the phase where you should do like the very first bigger sales launch. In our case, it was the crowdfunding campaign, Indiegogo. So we at that stage we more or less know what kind of customers we have and what we want to do. But that was the proof of market. So we actually put the product on the shelf of Indiegogo, and it was 1 month event where people can buy the product. Yeah, but the characteristic of these early adopters is totally different than innovators. Yeah, early adopters are people that they want to solve a problem. They have a problem, and they don't care if the product work all of the time or have bugs, but it have to solve this one particular problem. And so we launched the campaign on Indiegogo, and it was one of the most successful Indiegogo campaign in Indiegogo history. Okay, maybe we raised 150,000 US dollars. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's like top 0.5% of the best campaign at Indiegogo, yeah, at this platform, yeah. And we delivered the product. But actually, during this Indiegogo campaign, we realized that our market is in the totally different place than we believe that it is, because we believe that we have a product for musicians because we wanted to solve our problem, but then people said, what you have is actually ambisonics microphone. This is the most advanced ambisonics microphone on the market, and you should promote this as it is, yeah. And at that moment, we actually didn't know what to do, so we struggled with actually two solutions, one product, but two solutions, one for musicians, one for sound engineers who want to record like 360 3D audio, yeah. The easy part, let's say, was that we were able, from the technical point of view, we were able to demonstrate we were able to just create new software that create the 3D audio or created this multi-track recording, like two different products. But from the marketing point of view, it was a nightmare because the communication was really hard, yeah. Because okay, Zylia, what is Zylia? So at that moment, everybody wants to connect this name to one solution, yeah. And
especially that you already did so much in terms of actually promoting the brand, and now actually you can see that it was a pivot ahead of you, right? And actually maybe completely going to a different group.
Yeah, another problem that challenge that we had, that the price of the microphones was too expensive for musicians and too cheap for professionals. And so the professional, the second group that we have, the people look at the microphone and think that this is just like a toy, because it is not possible that device will cost only this amount of money, yeah. And that was one of the problems. And then for musicians, it was like a problem that the product is like was like $500-600 US dollars. Whereas in this target group, you should have a product like 100-200, yeah, like something in that. So we have like expensive product for musicians and too cheap product for professionals, yeah. And in our company, it was all the time we have the debate, okay, which market we should go, and how to communicate this product to which group. So we actually at the end we created like two different brands. So we have Zylia Music and Zylia Pro, and we wanted to distinguish these two different target groups and products, but actually for such a small company, it's super hard, and we actually wasn't able to properly split this this solution to do different target groups, yeah. So then but we were quite successful, so very good Indiegogo campaign, and then we still selling the product to both of those groups.
And what channels did you sell through? What was your main income revenue, where it was coming from?
So until the Indiegogo campaign, so we used mostly like a direct sales and the Indiegogo platform, yeah. Because we also have our e-commerce store, but if you compare your e-commerce versus a big platform like everybody knows, so you are like a small island, and this is like a huge island, yeah. But also the challenge was that you are not able to be on this crowdfunding campaign forever, yeah. So you have to close this campaign in some moment of time and move to other form of distribution, yeah. And that was the chasm, yeah. So we know that we have a huge group of fans, influencers, early adopters, But on the opposite side of the chasm, we have two different groups, so musicians and professionals, and both of those groups, musicians didn't believe that actually this is too magic for these professional musicians, and the professional they look at this product and think that this is more like a toy because early adopters are using it. So that was the huge challenge that we have at that moment in terms of the communication, marketing. So we didn't solve that problem at that time, but we just prepared for the new go-to-market strategy, and because people already at the crowdfunding campaign, they know us, but we wanted to go like much broader, like really establish like a beachheads, like our position in different countries. So
can you explain also? I mean, not sure if everybody knows what beachhead strategy is. Actually comes from MIT disciplined entrepreneurship, right? So approach to entering the market by selecting one group. Yes, actually, yes, it derived from Second World War and actually D-Day, when Americans try to establish beachhead positions on the Omaha beach, etc. And this is actually this metaphor was used actually to for startups. Actually, yes, it's actually established method, approach promoted by MIT. So you need to pick the group which is actually where value is the big, when there is a biggest value for the specific group, and you have actually the easiest access to this group on the market, right? So you can actually take let's say the easiest path, if this is any way you can say that this is easy. So it actually, because obviously for startup it's never easy, right? But actually pick this group of the least resistance and actually establish some kind of sales and market position and actually expand from there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so actually it's I remember that when we were the very first time in US and we talked with different people from the audio industry, and they asked us, okay, so what is your next step? And we said, we would like to sell in US. And they said, whole US? And it was, yeah, whole US. And so that's you have to find your beachhead. So in terms of like this example, so this is not US, yeah. You have to define like much narrow, maybe different states. We then actually narrow down the beachheads to cities. So we defined, okay, we have Los Angeles, Nashville, New York, maybe Chicago, yeah. So that's the biggest cities, yeah. Then we just define one city, Los Angeles, and then we created like a campaign which we called invasion to Los Angeles. It was like our internal name, and we failed actually because still Los Angeles is a huge city. Yeah, there's like 20 million people live only in the this city area, but there is also
California is like Poland. California is actually so many people like entire Poland, right? So
that's the problem of the scale. Yes, so we defined beachhead like a whole Los Angeles, and it was too big, and we just sent people there. So they went from one music store to another, asking if the people want to buy the product, maybe order from us. We also organized dedicated event or events in LA, but actually it was too small. Yeah, we didn't have leverage here. It's okay to have like a beachhead like city in US, but you have to calculate really the money. So we totally changed the strategy. So we go to the distribution channels. Yeah. So by distribution I mean companies like in audio industries like Thomann or B&H or Sweetwater. So these companies are retailers that they have their online stores, but they also like deliver like inside the specific country. Yeah. So for countries like US, it was possible, let's say, to talk with retailers directly, but with countries like China, Japan, and non-English or Polish-speaking countries, we had to rely on distributors. Yeah. So distributor is somebody who sell to the retailer, and then retailer sell to the end customer. Yeah.
Like an entire chain. But Tomek, I'm not sure if you want to still say it. We have actually maybe like 5 minutes or 10 minutes more. If you want to leave some space for questions. So I understand what because you mentioned that you had this problem, whether to go to the, like a musical market or pro market, and you moved to actually distribution, etc. So what was final, decision? So I know, of course, but if you could just finish this thought and say, so what was the finally, the strategy that you chose and pricing, etc. Because you mentioned that it was actually hard for a small company actually to keep two, right, at the same time. Yeah. So.
My advice for young companies like us, or maybe even if you have a small budget, then you should go to the premium market, and this is something that we did. If you have like a huge budget, like I don't know, Microsoft, Samsung, then you can sell smartphones for pennies, yeah, because you have like a huge volume. So what we did at the end, we focus on the professional market groups, so professional sound engineers, and so that was like internal pivot. We still support like the products for musicians, but this is not like a main group, yeah. So we are more well known also in this professional communities and so on. And we also deliver the product through distributors, yeah. So it is costly because you have to pay, some cut to the retailers or distributors.
Can I just say something here? Because two things actually. So one thing is that actually next week there will be a webinar, my 3D audio webinar, where Tomek will be talking about the actually preparing hardware products for production, and there will be a little bit, and he writes a lot about how to also create, prepare pricing for hardware products. So actually you can actually have margins. I see his actually, if you go to his LinkedIn profile, you will actually see that's actually a lot about how to prepare the pricing. So it's actually enough for you to get actually good, income and still actually have enough money to, to give it to distributors. And because I saw when we spoke together, right, in Berlin in Superbooth, that many, especially young company owners, I know that maybe for product managers for larger companies, they don't have this problem, and they actually know, they learned this already. But I know that young entrepreneurs, they are afraid because they say, oh no, we don't want to go to retailers or distributors because they will just take so much of so we want actually to have 100% of, this amount. And they just don't see that even if they give a little bit of the margin or a lot of margin, but still actually have a much larger scale and they sell the product all around the world, it will still actually make way more than they just can do it themselves, right? And one more thing, if I can just interrupt you just for a second, because we are just going slowly to an end. I just wanted to also say one thing, that together with Tomasz, we will be teaching in September a class on product portfolio management dedicated for groups. On two of them actually is professional audio and music technologies, and also software teams. Because Tomek already mentioned that also Zylia microphone actually goes together with the software for mixing 3D audio. And I also, spend a lot of time actually building software product and manage software products. So there is for the first time professional class for product managers from audio industry and from music tech industry. And for all those people who actually attend or listen to this webinar, there is actually like a 5% off. I will actually at the end of the webinar provide a link to the training, so you can actually register. And if you write that you are just like a webinar in the registration form, we will actually give you the discount. But really, I mean, guys, this is a unique chance because, as you can see, Tomasz has like a vast experience in actually delivering product from scratch, from an idea to actually to being, you know, all around the world. And I also like do product management for many years, and we just realized there is no product management courses dedicated for audio and music industry. So we want to, you know, guys, give you not just some random advice or generic advice that many professional coaches and trainers do, but something which is actually unique based on case studies from the industry, not just the one you see, but other
life experience.
Life experience. Yes. Yeah. So just okay. So I'll actually maybe post it already right away. I will actually post it also on the LinkedIn, and remember that with the claim webinar in the registration, you get the off like a 5% off, right? But anyway, so yeah, I'm sorry for this interruption, Tomek, but I think it's actually worth to mention. I will just mention this at the end. Yeah, so there is so much actually. You see, there is already like 10 to 9 in our place. I know it's obviously like earlier in US. And I mean, I know we had plans to talk about so many things like customer success and actually product marketing, you know, how to create professional materials, and so actually product, you know, product-led growth. So how product sell itself. And I know already we will not be able to cover this all. But maybe if I can ask you one more question, actually, because this was actually super interesting. So how hard, you know, so how much time did you dedicate to create like a professional, because it's like a still kind of, you know, like a until today very innovative technology. So how did you, you know, did you spend a lot of time building materials like videos, manuals, etc.? So what was your philosophy and approach to doing this, right? And how did it help you to you know, scale the product on the global markets?
Yeah, so we had or we have a philosophy that, you know, that if you have a good product, then it should sell itself. So this is like this product-led philosophy. So we try to include like a manual and everything inside the software that we have, and like anybody who is using the product is guided like step by step how to use it and so on. You're also asking about the marketing materials, right?
Like a product marketing, so you know, any kind of videos, okay, etc. So how actually people could, you know, because you want to say that product sell itself, but actually I know that I have it in here. It was kind of challenge, even though I do mix music, I record music. It was without having you a little bit. It was, and you know, I read all this blog and videos, etc. So it's once again.
So we did a trick. So actually, when we wrote the manuals, then okay, we understood them, but nobody else, or maybe almost, yeah. So then I did a trick that once we hired a new person, especially non-technical person, then the first task for that person was to record a music session with our microphone. But that person have to do this on her or his own without any help. And after person, that person have to report in what part of this process of recording stuck. And so then we just, from the R&D or product management point of view, we just attack this problem just to simplify it and so on and so on. So we, you know, so we use our own, let's say, employee. We also did a lot of beta tests, but actually the idea was to simplify the product so much that it's so easy to use, even if it's a professional product. Yeah.
Good. So actually, it seems like product-led growth, it's not only applicable to software companies. I mean, I know very well because I try to teach and preach product-led growth to various companies, service companies, hardware companies, but you are actually like a real case example that actually it is possible. Guys, once again, so just to make sure that we are on the same page, there is actually like very often sales, I mean, the enterprise companies with very expensive and complicated product, they are sold mainly through sales reps, right? So the process of sales is actually always assisting, like a person assisting, like making demos, like discovery calls, etc., etc. When product-led growth, it's actually an approach that comes actually from software as a service companies. When you have like a free trial, you can actually play a little bit, the tool, so, and professional materials. So the idea is that you don't need so much assistance from marketing and sales team. And the idea is that the product spreads itself, like Dropbox, for example, right? Or Canva, all these tools. Or there is actually like a freemium model, right? Where product actually disseminates itself. And the idea is actually to lower the cost of acquisition, right, of the customers. So since you don't have to spend so much time and put so many people actually on sales, so in real world, I mean, in theory, it should lower the cost of the product, like marketing and sales of the product, right?
If I can comment, the product-led philosophy is also very important from the sales point of view, because you can win 2 times with the new customer. So you win the first time when you sell the product, so convince the customer to buy a product from you, but you also can win the second time when the person for the first time use your solution and solve the problem. And and this is the challenge, that if you have a bad UX design or bad product or bad manuals, then okay, you can convince people to buy your product, but then they will never use it for true work. And the second thing is really important if you like to build the influencers and people that recommend your products and company later.
Yeah, absolutely. And moreover, they become your ambassadors, right? So happy customers there's nothing better than in marketing that customers that refer to you. Although that's actually interesting, because I saw in some statistics that actually sales-led companies actually they are just more effective, right? So I mean, obviously there is always debate, and there is, after all, there is no black and white, right? There is no company that's purely. I always make the joke that actually product-led growth is like zero unemployment. So it's like a nice, beautiful claim, but there is nothing like zero unemployment. There is actually in economy always structural unemployment. There is some people that simply don't want to work, they're sick, whatever, right? So the same, we can go towards a certain goal, but there is always like a shades of gray, and you have always, right, some assistance that is required. Tomek, I mean, let's stop here. I mean, once again, I feel like I know that when we can talk for hours during the evenings. So it's just another great discussion we have. Hopefully, like valuable for others. I don't know if we have only a few minutes. I'm not sure if there are any questions, right? So guys, if you have any questions you'd like to post them, we'll be very happy to answer. Let's give a minute to... No questions. Just want to remind again that there is a product portfolio management class coming in the second part of September, 26 and 27 and 26 and 27. Just remember, we are talking about product portfolio. So it's about companies that have multiple products, or if you're a product manager or portfolio manager who have multiple products under belt, or for example, if you have one product, but obviously it's like entire solutions. For example, you have a microphone and you have a software and there is some drivers, etc. It's still like a solution, right? You need to be able actually to manage multiple solutions at the same time. We actually have a debate just recently because people sometimes say, we just have a single company of a single product. But, most companies are actually because of the growth, your product grows and becomes so complicated that requires, additional things. And actually hardware products usually go together with firmware, software, and some peripheral equipment that has to be, like even in some kind of box, then you can, transport your stuff without damaging it, right? So this is what we are talking about, how to actually create a like how to maximize value of your portfolio and manage risk in your portfolio with special dedication, to audio products. Okay, I think, since we don't have any questions, maybe I will say that if you have any questions later, something comes to your mind, you can post those either on LinkedIn or write a private message to Tomasz or to me. Tomasz has, managed ventures together with Anna, manages venture studio called My3D Audio Ventures. So if you are, for example, an audio engineer or a startup owner who is at the stage that Tomasz were a couple of years ago, he will be also very happy to help you. He has like a mentoring services, and his mission is actually to help startups, to go to the, to help to succeed. Because I know from talking to him, right, that it was actually bumpy road and beautiful, looks beautifully pictured, with Stevie Wonder and many other great musicians, but it was like sometimes super right, challenging. So you don't have to go through this journey alone. And yeah, Tomek, I think you're.
Yeah, I think that's also the advice. You have to find a mentor if you are doing something for the first time. So, yeah.
Yep. But of course, yes. So product management, we are actually trying to spread best product management practices as well. So we hope to see you there. And if there is no questions, Tomasz, I would like to thank you, for your time. Wish speedy recovery to Anya. Okay, and yeah, we see each other soon. I think probably sooner than later, right?
Okay, thank you so much. Bye.